Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD podcast, where it's all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una. Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the EntreMD podcast. Now, I have been doing a lot of thinking. This is the beginning of the year. So the time of this recording is January 2nd. And, I was thinking a lot about what I need to do to really build the kind of business that creates my dream life, right? So I'm already on that path. And, I thought about it a lot. I've even taught a lot about it in the EntreMD Business School. And I figured I'd come and share with you the starting point of it, which may seem really simple. You're like, really, Dr. Una? But the truth of the matter is, until this is in place, nothing else is in place. Okay. So we're going to take a listen to this. Now, before we get into it, I would love to have you share this episode with another doctor in your life. If it's not something that you typically do, the EntreMD podcast is the free MBA for physician entrepreneurs. We release episodes twice a week, every week. This is our 3rd year of podcasting. And it really is to help 100,000 physicians embrace entrepreneurship so they can live life and practice medicine on their terms. So this is a movement and you are a critical part of that movement. So if you will, take this episode, share it with another doctor in their life, tell them, look, you have to take a listen to this and they'll thank you forever. I cannot tell you how many PMs and DMs I get from people saying, I listened to the podcast, I started my practice. I listened to the podcast, I started my podcast or my blog. I listened to the podcast, now I'm a paid speaker. All kinds of things happen, right? So I want you to, share this. It seems like a very simple thing, but this is how you take your place as part of the Calvary, bringing change to medicine, okay? All right. So when we talk about this whole idea of building a business that creates your dream life, the truth of the matter is, business on its own is great, right? Especially the way we think about it. We think about it as creating a win-win situation. So you build a business where you serve a lot and you earn a lot, right? You're doing both of them and you're doing them in that order, right? We lead with service, not with earning, but we don't serve with no expectation to earn. We're not creating a parasitic relationship. We're not creating a one-sided relationship. We're creating a win-win situation, a relationship that works for both parties. And so if you think about what I do in EntreMD or what I do in the EntreMD Business School, I am 1,000% committed to the doctors in the EntreMD Business School, helping them to build businesses, helping them to hit their revenue goals, helping them to build their business in such a way that it serves their lives and all of those kind of things, right? So there's the service piece that's happening. And then on the other side, there's the earning piece that's happening. And it's the earning piece that gives me the freedom to continue to do the serving piece. So you want to do both of them. Okay. I'm a big, if you've listened to the podcast, if you've listened to more than 10 episodes, you know this. I'm really big on serving and earning. In the physician community, we've really been trained on serving with no expectation of earning. But we see how that's worked for us, right? It didn't work, right? And so you want to make sure that you're doing both. Okay. So business is great because it is a tool you can use to change the world. It's the tool you can use to help a people group. It's amazing, and you can earn and you can create and all of this stuff. But the truth of the matter is, in a way, it's also a means to an end, right? We don't want to build businesses and lose our lives. We want to build businesses that also allow us to live our lives, right? And so sometimes people are scared of going into entrepreneurship because they're like, well, I'll lose my family, or my marriage will suffer. I won't be there for my kids, or I won't have time to enjoy my life, and all of those kind of things. But really, your business should be built in a way that is taking you there. And so in the EntreMD Business School, we did this thing where we did these year in a review posts. And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Toomer because she kind of started it. She shared hers. And I was like, yeah, this is fantastic. We should all do this, right? And started doing it. And it's so amazing that even though the EntreMD Business School is a business, and for the most part, what we talk about is business, it was so impressive to see all the life change, like people living more on their terms because they're building a business and because they're building it right. And so people talking about all this weight they've been trying to lose that they finally lost. People who are like, oh, now I did my first 5K, I did my first 10K. People talking about, their marriage being the best it's ever been. And, now they've freed up their time and they're not as stressed and all of that. So they, finally got pregnant. And, people talking about, like for the first time, I can dream again, and their relationships with their kids. It's unbelievable. So they're talking about things happening in their health. They're talking about things happening in their personal finances. They're talking about the quality of relationships that they've built, the things they've let go of that are no longer serving them. This has nothing to do with business, right? But what they're doing is a clear model of what EBS is about, which is building your business in a way that it helps you create your dream life, right? It gives you the financial freedom, it gives you the time freedom, and really the reward of the biggest reward of entrepreneurship is who you become in the process. And that is exactly what they're experiencing, right? And so it's just fantastic to see. And so, I did a whole training with them on this, and, like, these are the things you have to do. And I wanted to give you the most important piece, the most critical piece, the starting point. And the starting point is making a quality decision that you are going to build an asset that will create your dream life. To which you're like, Dr. Una, but that's the title of the podcast episode. It is, but it is your decision. I cannot tell you how many times in talking with entrepreneurs that they don't want to own a revenue goal. And I can understand that, because once you own it, it's like you're on, quote unquote, you're on the hook for it. It's like, what will happen if I don't hit it, and all of this kind of stuff, right? So they don't know revenue goals, not owning team goals, not owning any of that. It's just like, let's go and try this. I want to invite you to stop trying and start doing. I want to invite you to stop dabbling and commit. Like, commit to it. What's the worst that'll happen? It won't happen. It hasn't happened yet. So you have nothing to lose. But there's something about making a quality decision that I am going to build an asset. I am going to build it. So what that means is, I'm not building something that will give me a quick buck. Like, you can make a quick buck, but the goal is not to make a quick buck. The goal is to build a business, build an entity that will be this vehicle for you to serve a lot and earn a lot. So it will give you the time freedom and the financial freedom so you can live life on your own terms. Right? That's what it's about. Now, will it cost you some time and all this stuff in the beginning? Yes, but you know where you're going. You know what you're building, right? And so it is that commitment, which means I'm not dabbling, I'm not trying, I'm all in, and this is what I'm going to do. You may think this is hard, not nearly as hard as being a physician. And I like to remind doctors of this all the time because, sometimes we almost treat our medical degrees as if it's a handicap, but it's not. It's like the most amazing stepping stone, okay? There are 300 and what, 50 million people in the US. And of all those people, there's only 1 million physicians, and you are one of them, which means if you put over 300 people in a room and you divided out the country equally, only one person in each of those rooms would be a physician. You happen to be one of those people, right? You have done hard things. And everything you've done in medicine is harder than everything you need to do as an entrepreneur in a way, right? You have an ability to learn. You have an ability to acquire skill. You have an amazing network. You have access to some of the most profound rooms in the country. And so, yes, you can, but it starts with a decision. As long as you are dabbling, you're just going to get vague results. When you commit, that's when everything changes. You might say, but I don't really know how. That's the thing. You commit first, right? You make the decision first, and then you make the decision right. You commit first, and then you figure out the how second. Like, there are ideas that will never come to you until you make a decision. So you're making a decision that, you know what? I'm not dabbling anymore. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not procrastinating anymore. I am going to build an asset that helps me live my dream life. Okay. And dream life for you could look like, I work 5 days, but I have this freedom, right? And I enjoy my job because I'm now the CEO of my brand, and I know how to negotiate. I know how to put boundaries in place. I know how to build my brand and all of those things. And it gives you the freedom to do this the way you want to do it. It may look like I work 3 days a week because I want to spend the other time with my children while they're younger. It may look like I want to retire early. It can look like whatever it looks like. But business is a vehicle that can get you there. Okay. So it's the decision. Now, when we talk about the decision, there are really 3 decisions that you're going to make. So this decision is a 3-part, decision. The first part is you're going to own what you really want. What do you really want? This year I want to build my business to 6 figures. Great. I want to build it to 7 figures. Great. I want to finally cross the 8 figures. Great. I want a self-led team so that my business can function without me, right? What is it that you really want? Because a lot of times we're like, well, that's a lot. I don't know if I can do that. And we chicken out, right? But as long as we're in our chicken out stage, these things are not going to happen, right? And so what do you really want? And so a lot of times when I have people write their goals, I would have them write their goals. And then when they're done, I'm like, okay, so let's say I'm having people write 2023 goals. When they're done, I'm like, okay, great. This is the litmus test, right? Now, let's say it's December 31st, 2023, and everything you wrote down is now your current reality. Are you happy with that? Is that what you really wanted? And a lot of times people are like, yeah, no, that's not what I would be mad. I wouldn't be like really excited. I'm like, if you're not really excited, then that's not what you really want. Because if you get what you really want, you'll be excited. So what is it that will make you excited, right? And so I'm beating this over and over again because a lot of times we don't own what we want. We're like, I'll be okay with this. I'll be okay if this happens, right? But that's not what you really want. What do you want? Is owning that. So that's the first part of the decision. The second part of the decision is owning that I am willing to go through the transformation that is required, right? I'm willing to go through the transformation. The bottom line is your dream costs what your dream costs, right? Like if you go to buy shoes, you go to buy some Gucci shoes, they cost what they cost, right? And so the question is, am I willing to pay the price to experience the transformation, to become the kind of person who gets the kind of result I decided I want to get? For instance, I say I want to build my business to $100,000, but I've been so afraid of putting myself out there and I've been unwilling to sell. Are you willing to become the kind of person who's comfortable selling? Or who is disciplined enough to sell in spite of discomfort? You say, oh, I want to build $1 million business. And your rate limiting step is your team. Like, you shy away from hiring, you shy away from firing, you shy away from building company culture. You shy away from showing up and casting your vision and all of that. Are you willing to become the kind of person who does that? Or maybe you're like, I want to build it, to $1 million and I want to maximize my profits. But when you think about profit and loss statements, you break out in hives. Are you willing to become the kind of person who reviews that and you're okay with it and you understand it? Are you willing to go through the discomfort of becoming the kind of person who accomplishes the goals, the results that you decided you're going to accomplish. So I want you to think about that. And that's a decision to make. I will become that person. Now, in essence, what that means is you're deciding to be uncomfortable, right? You're deciding to be uncomfortable. You're like, the person I was in 2023 created the results I had in 2023. If I want to experience new results in 2023, then I have to be a different person, right? And that's going to be uncomfortable because I'm comfortable with where I am right now. I'm going to have to embrace some things. Oh, I want to experience a lot of growth, but I don't like reading. I don't like listening to audiobooks. Well, I'd rather do Netflix. I know, but you're going to become this kind of person who reads a book a week or a book every other week, right? Because leaders are readers. It just is what it is. Okay. So the first decision is deciding on the results you want and committing to that. The second decision is that I am going to go through transformation to become the kind of person who gets that kind of result, right? Then number 3 is a commitment that I will take the actions required. I will take the actions required. Okay. And this part is so huge because yes, business, people say like your success is 80% mindset and all of that. Okay. But your mindset plus lack of action is enough to cripple your results. The whole idea behind the mindset transformation is to bring you to this point where you take certain actions that will give you the result that you want. And so I really want you to start thinking about having a disposition, a bias towards action. Like I'm this person who takes action. I've decided on the result. I've gone through this transformation to become the kind of person who does that. And I take these actions because I'm that person. And this is the way we act now. This is what we do now. And so, you're building a business and you want growth. Selling is everything. Asking people to work with you is everything. Asking people to refer to you is everything. Asking people to write reviews and asking people who have access to your audience to refer to you. Like these are huge. They're huge. It is the raw material for growth, right? Marketing, putting yourself in front of people who do not know you on a regular basis. This is something that is a requirement. It's not a nice to do. It's a must do. Right? Because if you're doing all this selling in the beginning, yes, you can get clients and patients, but if you're doing it to the same exact people, what will happen is your ability to convert people just disappears because there's no new people. Leading a team, like you're going to start leading them. You're going to start working on your processes. Like all of these things are actions that have to be taken. They have to be taken. Okay. So I cannot think of something better to tell you to do this early in the year at the time of this recording. It's a decision. If you want to build a business that you're not just building for fun, you're not just building to waste your time, but you are building this. So this is a vehicle that allows you to serve a lot, earn a lot, and live your dream life. If that is what you want to do, you are going to decide on the results you want. You are going to decide to go through the transformation to become the kind of person who gets those results. And you are going to decide to take the actions that will get you those results. Now, you make these 3 decisions, it puts you in this position where you become unstoppable. And that is what I would love for you. Okay? Now, these are 3 things that you can do on your own. You can sit and you can start your process. Okay. But there are some of you who your thing is, I am committed to this. I am done dabbling. I am done trying. I'm done, putting my foot in and out. You're like, I want to go all in. I want to invite you to come join us in the EntreMD Business School because this is what we do. In fact, this is what we do so much so that this year we are living by the 90-day sprint, right? We're not just doing goals for the year, we're doing goals for the quarter, and we're applying these 3 things and we're going for it. And we're going to create massive growth, massive transformation, and we're building businesses that even from now will start giving us the capacity to live our dream life. Okay. So entremd.com/business. It is application only because it's not a good fit for everybody. Now, if you are somebody who is coachable, if you're someone who's committed to your goals, if you're somebody who will stay in conversation when things are working really well, when you're struggling in the private Facebook group, all of that, if that is you, then you are the person that is a perfect fit for the EntreMD Business School. You will come in there, you will thrive, you will get results that will blow your mind. Okay. So application only, entremd.com/business. I want to invite you to come turn an application, come join the community, come get weekly coaching, weekly group coaching with me, come be in the group with physicians who are doing this, who are committed, who are getting it done. Okay. All right. Now, regardless of whether you join us or not, you have the tools that you need to start this process. And I want to challenge you to start it today, because this is the deal. If you start doing this today, you're not going to need a year to start seeing these results. These are things that really in the next 30, 60, 90 days, you start going like, wait a minute, what is going on here? That could be your story. That could be your story. So I want you to engage this process. I want you to be ready for what is coming over the next 12 months, because this is our time as physician entrepreneurs. Yes, there's talk about, the recession, hyperinflation, challenges, and all of that stuff. But guess what? We are going to thrive in spite of it. We are. Okay. So go get this done. I want you to have the best outlook for 2023. I want you to engage the process to make it your reality. I want you to share this episode with another doctor, and I'll see you on the next episode of the EntreMD podcast. Hey, if you love listening to the EntreMD podcast, I want to invite you to join EntreMD On Demand. It is my signature subscription program that gives you access to a library of business courses designed to help you do one thing as a physician entrepreneur, and that is to thrive. Just head out to entremd.com/on-demand, and I'd love to have you join us. See you on the inside.